Good evening and a very warm welcome. You're watching a Headlines Today special broadcast on the big face-off between Smriti Irani, the HRD Minister on the one side, and the Delhi University Vice-Chancellor on the other. This is a battle over whether or not the four-year program in Delhi University will stay or will it be scrapped. Joining us on this broadcast are students from Delhi University. We've also got some top faculty and representatives of political parties. As of now, this evening, there is an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation between the UGC and the HRD Ministry on the one side and the Delhi University Vice-Chancellor and his team on the other. The UGC has made it absolutely clear that there is no question that the new students will be admitted under the four-year program. The Vice-Chancellor insists that the four-year program has been modified sufficiently to make it in conformity with the Delhi University Charter and also the UGC Charter. Neither side is prepared to blink as students wonder what awaits them.
Their future at stake. Students became mere collateral in a bitter battle over Delhi University's four-year undergraduate program, or the FYUP. A war where the battle lines were sharp, where the fight was more political than academic. The four-year course was part of former HRD Minister Kapil Sibal's aggressive educational reform agenda. It was muscled through by the Delhi University Vice-Chancellor Dinesh Singh a year back. But the new government never hid its intentions to roll back. The fight escalated with DU refusing to oblige. And it resulted in this unprecedented public notice in national dailies. UGC bared its claws, but the Vice-Chancellor stood his ground.
The central government has to decide how to act against a Vice-Chancellor who is defiant.
DU principals met as the battle raged.
हमारे पास जो गाइडलाइंस दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय से हैं एडमिशन के विषय में और जो दूसरी गाइडलाइंस यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमीशन से आई हैं उन दोनों में कन्फ्लिक्ट है और उस कन्फ्लिक्ट के रहते हुए हमारे लिए एडमिशन करना संभव नहीं है। इसी कारण हमारी एसोसिएशन ने प्रिंसिपल्स एसोसिएशन ने ये रिजॉल्व किया है कि जब तक अनएम्बिगुअस गाइडलाइंस नहीं दी जाती कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी द्वारा तब तक हम एडमिशन प्रोसेस को डेफर करते हैं।
Amid all the drama, the battle exploded onto the streets. The politics turned ugly with students for and against FYUP coming to blows. For the record, the HRD minister refused to intervene. She ducked the questions as well.
Ma'am, issue likely to be resolved today, ma'am. Ma'am, issue likely to be resolved today.
But in marathon meeting with the UGC, it was made clear that FYUP cannot stay. The UGC took a 180-degree turn under the new government after declaring the universities had a right to fix duration of the courses. It invoked the national education policy under the new government to pass the four-year program.
Clouded in ambiguity, the Delhi University admission process has been put on hold. The ugly spat between the University Grants Commission and the Delhi University has only led to the fate of lakhs of Delhi University applicants hanging in balance. This, while the batch of 2013 is now crying foul, asking if they were just guinea pigs to an experiment that went terribly wrong. With camera person Vipin, this is Rishika Barua reporting from New Delhi for Headlines Today.
Their future at stake. Students became mere collateral in a bitter battle over Delhi University's four-year undergraduate program, or the FYUP. A war where the battle lines were sharp, where the fight was more political than academic. The four-year course was part of former HRD Minister Kapil Sibal's aggressive educational reform agenda. It was muscled through by the Delhi University Vice-Chancellor Dinesh Singh a year back. But the new government never hid its intentions to roll back. The fight escalated with DU refusing to oblige. And it resulted in this unprecedented public notice in national dailies. UGC bared its claws, but the Vice-Chancellor stood his ground.
The central government has to decide how to act against a vice-chancellor who is defiant.
DU principals met as the battle raged.
हमारे पास जो गाइडलाइंस दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय से हैं एडमिशन के विषय में और जो दूसरी गाइडलाइंस यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमीशन से आई हैं उन दोनों में कन्फ्लिक्ट है और उस कन्फ्लिक्ट के रहते हुए हमारे लिए एडमिशन करना संभव नहीं है.
This has become an out-and-out ego battle between the HRD Minister and the Delhi University Vice-Chancellor. I want to begin with Madhu Kishwa, who has opposed the HRD Ministry's intervention and doesn't want the 4-year program to be scrapped. Most people tonight will support the fact that the 4-year plan is being scrapped. Why are you against it, ma'am?
See, firstly, there's this misinformation that 4-year means you're stuck there for 4 years. You have exit options after 2nd year, you can get a diploma. Earlier, there was no exit option. After 3rd year, you still get a BA degree. 4th year is for getting a special honors degree. So it's not as if the 10 plus 2 plus 3 has been abolished. It's just been modified. You don't have to go into the 4th year. But for me, the more important thing is due process. The UGC Act, as well as the entire education system, the way it's governed is, universities have to have their autonomy, and that's ensured by the UGC Act. The UGC Act gives UGC the right to give guidelines and monitor quality standards, but not to decide what's to be taught. The due process is that if you want to change the curriculum, the academic council goes through it. There's internal consultations, and then the executive council puts its stamp of approval. Now this was done, total members present in the AC meeting, 92, which endorsed this, out of which 6 dissented, 86 assented.
You've made an important point. Your point is, why is the HRD ministry interfering in what is supposed to be an autonomous body?
Supposing there were complaints, supposing, I mean, let's say I'm willing to accept that there is another side to the picture, then you follow due process, you appoint an independent review committee, go through proper process, and let the academic council...
You've set the stage for this debate. Nupur Sharma represents the BJP, and I want her to respond to the charge that Madhu levels. In fact, it is reality. This is being driven from the office of the HRD Minister. Delhi University is supposed to be an autonomous institution. You are discarding the whole idea and the notion of autonomy.
I'm sorry, but let's go back to how this 4-year program was brought about.
I'm dealing with what's happening in the present.
I am going to still deal with it. You're talking about employability. Please tell me who will employ a diploma holder or somebody who doesn't. I'll answer all your questions.
So let's begin with the question that I started with.
You have to allow me to finish. If the HRD minister can bulldoze a program like this, and if you're talking about due process, I'm sorry, it never got the visitor's assent. All of us know
That's
this.
simply
it
not
never
true.
got the... No, it is true.
It
never went
One
to
second.
the UGC.
I don't want to get into Delhi University politics over here. Allow me to moderate this program. Let me explain to you the question that I'm answering. And Nupur, try and answer the question that I'm asking.
Today the HRD ministry, in fact, today the HRD minister has actually gone on record to say that it's a problem between DU and UGC.
But that's not true.
Everybody knows the
That's
4-year
not true.
degree
This
is not
part of
improving
the BJP's
employability.
manifesto, Nupur.
Of course
Nupur.
it is.
So therefore,
of course it
accept
is.
the fact that
and
the
it was
changes are being
relooked
driven
into.
by you.
It was relooked into.
By whom?
And
not by
the
Delhi
HRD
University.
Ministry.
So why
The
is
HRD
then
ministry
what's
got
the point
program.
of saying that Delhi University is an autonomous institute?
Rahul,
Are you then accepting that DU is not an autonomous institution?
Let me complete. The students sitting here, being in the first year of the FYUP, and the students coming in, just because we have a bad precedent does not mean we carry on with it and we affect our further generations. You and I turned out well after the 3-year degree.
Unless you give it some time, how do you decide whether this is a good idea or a bad idea?
Are they interested in reading 9th grade English and Hindi? Are they
Let me ask Professor Debraj Mukherjee.
Oh, come on, there is an argument. That doesn't improve employability anywhere.
One second. Let's just try and stay focused. Debraj Mukherjee, as somebody who's taught the foundation course, of the first year of the 4-year program. Do you think this is a good, workable idea? Nupur argues it's a useless idea, junk it, why waste time with it?
The first thing, actually, the most critical thing to understand here is, what do we have? Do we have a 3+1 program, or do we have a 1+3 program? That new 1 year that we are doing, is it something that you are introducing at the end of the program to sort of upgrade it? Or are you introducing at the beginning of the program to compensate for something that is not happening in the schools? So I think it's the former. I mean, as a teacher, I have tried to make the most of foundation courses. In fact, I have received an award from the university for doing innovative things with my foundation course. But is it correct for students to do 12 foundation courses over the first 2 years and 8 in the first year, where 500 marks for each semester that you're evaluated for, 300 goes to foundation courses, 200 for your 2 DCs, which is the DC1, your primary so-called honors subjects. So what happens is, out of 500 marks that you're evaluated, 300 is for FC, which is internally evaluated. Out of the 200 marks for DC, another 50 is internally evaluated. As an honors student, you are evaluated for only 150 marks by the university. And I know of students who claim they have got a first-class honors in English, which we in our time struggled for, without having got even possibly 50% marks in their DC2
Rahul,
DC1
this
subjects.
is not. This issue cannot be resolved in a TV debate. Whether the foundation courses are good or not, I'm saying follow due process. Due process is set up a non-partisan high-level committee, which is non-partisan. You can't have people opposed to it in the way that the UGC has done. 10 people all opposed to it are in the committee which are supposed to trash it. Set up a committee, review it. If it's bad, by all means, improve it, junk it, whatever.
That's an important
but Sultani Farmans.
It's a Sultani
this
Farman.
Is
Can I
dangerous.
allow the professor from SRC
and
to come in?
BJP
Yes.
manifesto cannot be implemented in this fashion.
I don't care
I'm
for
sorry.
whether it's a BJP or a Congress
But it is a
game. But
BJP
listen to,
manifesto
but
and
one
it's become
second,
a Congress
one
versus
second,
BJP fight.
1 second. When syllabi are presented to courses committees, for example, the English department of Delhi University has a courses committee which comprises the professors of the department. They are handed a fiat. They are handed a syllabus which they have not prepared 1 hour before the meeting in which they have to endorse it. If that is not Sultaniyat
You're saying there's a Tughlaqi
Farman.
Farman. No, one by one. I want to deal with...
I have something I take the question of autonomy extremely seriously.
Do you think DU's autonomy is being violated by the HRD
I do not
minister?
think, if you give me a minute, I'll explain.
Yes,
But
please
it's
do.
not yes, no answer.
Okay.
Okay, it's a much more nuanced issue. That the autonomy is based on academic freedom, on an environment where people, academician, the academia, can put any proposal that comes before it to critical scrutiny. But what was done while introducing FYUP, and under this Vice Chancellor, he has presided over Academic Council, the so-called statutory body, which passes, just 2 days before the meeting, they are given 54 courses running into thousands of pages. Nobody has read it. Half read it, they pass it. The Faculty of Arts, of which he is a part, passes 40 courses, which were placed on the table within 40 minutes. This indicates an environment of intimidation, harassment. The Vice Chancellor, using various powers that he has, is daily harassing people, and you see academicians behaving in a way that cannot be fathomed, explained, and understood by anybody
We've
else.
got some professors who support
Anybody else.
what the Vice Chancellor
I'll
is
just
doing.
complete this part
Yes.
for you. This part for you. Second, this FYUP came with 3 degrees. First, they introduced some baccalaureate and so on and so forth. UGC said not there. Then they introduced some new title called Bachelor with Honors. Okay. And while doing it and giving it to students, they did not inform the student the following. This is what the Executive Council has passed. It is irresponsible, illegal. What is it? These are the degrees. Bachelor with Honors or BTech, Bachelor, Diploma. However, the Vice Chancellor categorically stated that the degree in the respective discipline shall be in accordance with nomenclature specified by the UGC under Section 22. They did not say it is. Once they did something, it was not. Second time, they've again done, which is not. I believe the UGC should have intervened earlier. If the chairperson for some did not.
Okay, so we've got
later,
two professors
fine.
who support what the Vice Chancellor is doing. Now, you've got some very serious charges being leveled that you can't blame the HRD Minister for intervening because it is the Vice Chancellor who acted as an autocrat in the first place.
Rahul, I'll respond to both the charges.
Yes.
First, that it doesn't have the visitor's approval. That is absolutely untrue. And the second, the autonomy question. Look at the disdain and look at the kind of dismissive approach. Statutory bodies of Delhi University, of which he himself, the gentleman himself is a part, has become so-called. That's the kind of dismissive approach the people have who claim to live in a university and believe in consultation and debate. Having said that, first, visitors' approval. Mrs. Kapoor, you are a student's leader. You must be knowing, and you should. Huh? I'm not Kapoor. Whatever. I'm sorry if I said so. You know, Nupur sir, right? Delhi University statutory bodies work in a particular way. The moment Executive Council, that's the highest body, approves a particular ordinance, it comes into force automatically, and it sends that ordinance for ratification approval to the University Court, which it has done. University Court has already approved FYUP, and then it also sends to the visitors.
No, also UGC approval.
Yeah.
This is letter.
I'm talking about the process.
Will you? I know all of this. Talk about the visitors' approval. Did you get the president's assent or not?
Let me finish.
Did you get the president's assent or not? That's my question. And having said that, Rahul,
you are not
I'd like
allowing
to
me
butt
to
in
speak.
between.
This is not right.
You are talking about. I have serious problems with this.
Nupur, you have spoken. Nupur, you have spoken. Let me finish.
He's not answering the question. Was there visitors' assent or not?
Don't come in one by one.
Visitors. When it goes to the visitor, the procedure is this, that within a month, if any disapproval has to come from the visitor, it comes within 30 days. If it doesn't come, it is deemed to be approved.
No, but here is...
One second, Rahul. It's not
Okay, that's the point of having teachers on the show.
It's not
they don't want to listen to anyone.
Ordinance.
Allow me to moderate this program, sir. Allow me to moderate this program.
I'm talking about the process. I'm talking about the process.
Madhu Kishwar has pulled out a letter from UGC. Just allow me to moderate this program. You've spoken enough. Which says that the UGC has sanctioned what the Vice Chancellor was doing.
UGC cannot sanction.
If the UGC had to intervene earlier, shouldn't it have been done last year? And now, because this is on the BJP's manifesto, has it become a matter of ego? Where Smriti Irani and the BJP have decided that regardless of what the so-called autonomous body feels,
Rahul,
they will implement this.
Rahul, is it just Miss Irani's dream or the BJP's dream, or is it everybody in the student body and all these teachers who have been complaining for 1 year? This is not an overnight thing. I'm sorry. This debate started in May 2013 and I was very well a part of it. Name one teacher who is against it, who has slept over it for months together and now has just woken up with the change of government. No, it has not happened like this. Students who are currently studying, you're talking about a 4-year employable degree. I'm sorry, do you even have the infrastructure? Have you thought about an online e-library? No, you have not. First, you bring about those changes. You talk about a BTech degree, which is not...
Why did the UGC not wake up earlier? Why didn't the HRD Minister wake up earlier?
Please question the UGC. Please question the UGC for that. Please question the UGC for that.
With hours to go for the first list to come out.
The UGC, if it was happy to sleep over it, it is their problem. It is not ours, because this degree has been causing a problem, and in public interest, people from all walks of life have come up, and students have come up to say, no, this is not fair. This is not what we came here to study. Then obviously it's debatable.
I want to bring in the representative from the NSUI, because the government earlier, Shashi Tharoor, Pallam Raju, had supported the 4-year program. Now that you've been knocked out of power, your position seems to have changed. I don't understand this. When Dinesh brought this in the first place in Delhi University, your government and your party was supporting it. Now suddenly you think it's not a good idea?
Actually, NSUI, we never supported this FYUP.
And the NSUI is part of the Congress was in power.
But as an organization, as the fundal organization, we did not support it ever. We did not take a stand neither against it nor affirmatively. We stand for change and reforms, and if FYUP on paper it looked good, and it was supposed to bring in a lot of reforms to the education system. And since we stand for reforms, and if it is better for the betterment of the students, we were silent. We wanted to see how the implementation goes about. And now
how have you decided in such a short time that it's not a good idea?
Because we went to colleges and we went to students in the past 1 year, and we took their feedbacks, and after going through the, after knowing whatever they have come up with, there is lack of faculty, there is lack of infrastructure, no e-libraries like she mentioned, and a lot of other factors as well. So in this, after going through the surveys and everything, now we have decided that this FYUP has been a very big mistake, and now that's why we're against it.
But should the idea not be given more time to play itself out before it is discovered, before it is discarded?